Welcome to the E-Show with Neil Ravin. Founded in 2013, the EHL has become the college placement leader on the East Coast. Sit back and learn more about the next step in your junior hockey career.
Welcome to the E-Show, presented by the Penalty Box Foundation. The Foundation's mission centers around their daily motto, we take care of our own, as they help out all of those within the hockey community who've experienced a catastrophic event. Learn more at penaltyboxfoundation.org. What's up? My name is Neil Ravin, and this is episode number 109 of the E-Show. On this week's episode, we begin with another alumni who's earned multiple Rookie of the Week honors at the next level. Tommy Schwartz spent 3 seasons with the RoughRiders, and he's brought his point production with him from Connecticut to Saint Anselm College. Moving along to the weekly rundown, we have some new teams cracking their way into the EHL and EHLP power rankings. Further along, inside the Ecru Fantasy Challenge, we hype up Jeff's Monster Week and then preview a number of upcoming games to keep an eye on as we wrap things up with what to watch for. I'm joined now by Tommy Schwartz, a forward at St. A's and an alumni of the RoughRiders. How's it going, Tommy?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. We had to have you on because you keep winning awards. We're going to get to that in a second, though. I want to go back to your junior career first because you spent 3 seasons with the RoughRiders. Let's first talk what brought you to the RoughRiders and to the EHL.
So growing up, I grew up in Ridgefield, Connecticut, which is only about 30 minutes from Norwalk. I've known Stephen Brown, Eric Lynn since I was 10, 11 years old. I grew a great relationship with them. So it was a pretty easy pick, honestly. That way I could stay at home. I could just commute right to Norwalk and see those 2 guys every day. Really helped my development. Let's
talk about those 2 coaches some more because there's a small group that have been in the EHL for the entirety of the league since it was formed in 2013, but no duo has been together the entire time in the same place than Lindy and Brownie. What is it about that coaching duo that makes them so special?
I just think they were a great team. I mean, Eric, he was probably one of the best coaches I've ever had at developing skills, analyzing stride and skating and shooting and just giving little tips here and there, how to score more goals even or just make better plays. And then Brownie, he's just one of the smartest coaches I've ever met, just to the X's and O's and mentality, everything like that. They just really feed off each other, and they did a great job doing that for every one of their players.
And you spent 3 years there. Not every player plays 3 years of juniors, but you wanted to play all 3. Was there a thought to leaving juniors earlier, or are you happy looking back and saying, those 3 years was the right decision for me?
I think the 3 years was the right decision. I mean, I had great teammates all 3 years, no complaints whatsoever. I think for me personally, I just wanted to develop my game just as much as I could with Lindy and Brownie. That way I could just be as successful as I could be at the next level.
And you bring up the teammates. I'm going to put you on the spot because we're record watching right now. And you were lucky enough to play with both Bella brothers. You spent 2 seasons with AJ, just 1 with Colin. But right now, Colin is chasing after AJ's record. Can I put you on the spot to say which one is better?
Oh, man. I don't think I can really pick one to be a better player. They're both a little different, for sure. Yeah. Both have just a crazy knack for scoring goals. I mean, it's unbelievable what they're doing. No, I honestly just can't pick one, but they're both unbelievable players, and it's really cool to see Colin chasing down his older brother's records right now.
Are there any group texts or chats that take place with everyone still, like the alumni, or is that not a thing?
Here and there. I mean, everyone's busy with either still in juniors or off at college right now, but we try to keep in contact as much as we can. But I mean.
Well, he needs 11 goals. So we'll see what happens. Maybe the chats will pick up. But you bring up the teammates, and you can see the jersey behind you, your RoughRiders jersey. You had the chance to wear a C your last year. What did it mean to be the captain?
It meant a lot. honestly. For my first year, Alex Orwello wore the C, and he was one of the best leaders I've ever played for. Then my next year, Connor Boyce, both Manhattanville guys right now. I mean, they both taught me so much without physically actually talking to me, but just being around them and their presence and the way they carry themselves from day to day, it was something to really look up to and follow in their footsteps. So I kind of just watched them and then just kind of
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
This next question may catch you off guard then, because that year you wore the C was the 2019-20 season, which of course came to a very abrupt ending, if you will. Right. But your season had ended. You guys actually had a pretty crazy playoff series with the Junior Flyers where you had won game 1, but then lost games 2 and 3. And I asked all the coaches that following off season, for the ones who had been knocked out, was that almost like closure for you, or how could it even possibly felt if you had won that series and had the season end at the snap of a finger without your control? Was it better the way that it ended in a way?
No, I honestly don't think so. I mean, I just myself, and I know the guys on that team, we were really upset with how the season ended. We thought we had a really good group, really deep, that could have made a run to the finals. And, we got to give credit to the Junior Flyers. They played really hard and rallied behind their coach at that time with what was going on with them. It doesn't make it easier, though. I mean, we definitely thought we had a really good chance to make a push. Unfortunately, that just didn't happen, which it happens, but no, I don't think it made it better, though.
Okay. And it feels like, honestly, forever ago. It's only a few years ago now, because then you fast forward, you become a college freshman, and COVID persists. What were you able to do this past year, and how did you find a way to stay in hockey shape?
Yeah, so last year we didn't have ice until I think the beginning of November last year.
Yeah.
Then our school finally put the ice down. We started practicing a few times a week, if not every day.
Yep.
We were still doing team lifts together, even before that, 2 to 3 times a week. That way we could all just stay together, stay in the best hockey shape we could be, with just the possibility of having a season. But then the NE10 canceled. I think it was late December, early January. And then, I mean, that wasn't fun to hear. The guys were kind of upset about it because we were really looking forward to playing and working like we were going to play. But we just took what we could get, honestly.
Yeah. And then as this season begins, you're a sophomore and a quote unquote rookie, right? So last week I had on a rookie who's tearing it up in the SUNYAC, and now I have a rookie that's tearing it up in the NE10. Was there a moment, a first game, a first shift, or something where you took a hit and you said to yourself, all right, now it's back. Now the games are back. Now I'm ready to go?
I don't know if there was like one certain moment. I think just suiting up for my first game at home against Revere was really cool. I mean, we were at home. We had tons of students there. It was packed. It was a little loud. I think that was kind of a moment where I was like, wow, this is unbelievable. And, just haven't really looked back since. And I've been lucky to play in every game I've played with right now. And just with the team our team's awesome. I mean, I'm so happy to be here. It's awesome.
Yeah. 19 points so far, NE10 Rookie of the Week twice. Is there a moment this year where you have said to yourself, like, man, I really did make it? Or did you expect this production right from the get-go?
Honestly, no. I was just trying to play my game, which is just work hard, be a responsible player. That's kind of how I was in juniors too. It's just be smart, be just all around the ice, responsible. So I wasn't expecting really the points that I have, honestly. I think that just comes with the hard work, and I'm playing with Will Christensen for most of the year, and we have some good chemistry, and just the guys around us, like we have a really skilled, fast, and like really creative team that makes it really not easy to produce, but it makes
Easier.
things easier than they would. Yeah, exactly. Easier.
You mentioned you playing with Will Christensen, another RoughRiders alum. I know when we had our All-Star event up in Hooksett, Coach Brown brought the All-Stars up with him a night early so they can come see you guys play. How did that make you and the rest of the RoughRiders alumni feel at St. A's to have your coach back watching you at that next level?
No, it was really cool. I mean, he texted me earlier in that week about the whole All-Star event that was going on, and we set aside tickets for him, and I think it was 4 players that joined, including Cullinan. So seeing them after the game, I mean, we unfortunately lost that game, but just seeing them afterwards was really cool, really special, honestly.
And there's been a lot of great moments for you this year, and I don't want to mention these particularly because they were losses, but you did get a chance to play LIU, a pair of Division I games. What was that experience like for you?
That was really cool. I mean, the scores weren't what we wanted, but I mean, we played as hard as we could. I mean, there's just such a difference. Any little mistake we made, they just capitalized on. But we were really proud with how we played in those 3 games. I mean, they're just a great team. We played as hard as we could. But it was still a really cool experience. We learned a lot. And then after those games, we felt really good. You know, we said ourselves like, hey, I mean, they didn't go as we wanted, but we liked how we played. Let's just build off of it. And then we've been on a little bit of a run ever since.
It's perfect at the right time of year, too. As you guys approach the playoffs, right in the thick of things in the NE10, what is Coach Roca saying is the next goal from here? Is it just one day at a time, one game at a time?
Exactly. One practice, one game at a time. Just be hungry. You know, just want it more than the other guys. Just work hard, and you know everything will fall into place as it should.
And maybe for you and the rest of the RoughRiders alums, you'll have a chance at a little revenge, if you will, with the way the 2019-20 playoffs ended. So I appreciate you coming on. I love the jersey behind you, and like I said, you're killing it in the NE10 right now. So keep it up, and we'll talk soon.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks again to Tommy Schwartz coming on the podcast this week. A true definition of how I always say every story is different for the players that come into this league. Tommy did play 3 separate seasons, I should say, with the RoughRiders, the captain his last year, and now off at St. A's. Already been named the Northeast 10 Rookie of the Week twice, so great to have him on. But now let's bring in the Ecru. And guys, the roster freeze is less than 30 hours away at this point.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No adding of players.
Yes, a lot of very interesting decisions were made this week. Some last second additions and some call ups and send downs, if you will. But this is after the roster freeze. This is when things really start to take off as we approach the playoffs.
Yeah, all of our teams that like to move a lot of guys in and move a lot of guys out, well, you're not moving anyone out and you're not moving anyone in. It's called a freeze for a reason.
You got to start looking at the Railers to see what they're going to do on the back end because they are stocked up with good goalies.
Which is why I have a goalie picked specifically in fantasy this week.
That's why I'm angry that I finished with the best fantasy week because I wanted him and I wanted another goalie that's all picks. And I was like, picking last sucks, Lauren.
We'll get to fantasy. Fantasy. But let's get things started with the weekly rundown.
It's time for the Ecru's Weekly Rundown.
The E-Show Weekly Rundown is brought to you by the Junior Hockey Podcast, your home for junior hockey news, knowledge, and nonsense. Check them out at tjhpodcast.com.
All right, guys. So what do you want to start with? Your Frozen Finals picks or power rankings? Because I said we're going to talk about this again.
You did.
They both suck.
Wow. I mean, I'll start.
You got to pick the lesser of two evils here. Yeah,
I vote like EP did. I say we do rankings first because it was kind of a strange week. Had a lot of teams do the 1-1, play 2 games, went 1-1. Only had a couple of teams that actually had over 500 weeks.
I'm going to make the rankings easy. I'm going to make my same.
You say that every week.
Oh, it's just so easy. My same pitch as last week. Avalanche and then South Division. All 4 teams. Let's do it.
Wow.
Yes, yes, Neil. Yes.
What about the Wolves and Lumberjacks? No love for the North anymore. They did good this week.
I was just gonna say Neil's not been watching the EHL this week because that is not true.
Damn. Neil from the North is no more. He is retired. He is slamming his stake in the South.
I am going south next week for a South road trip, so I'm trying to earn brownie points before I go south.
Oh, okay.
That's why I should talk about the North, though, Neil. If you're gonna go south next week, that's 2 weeks of south.
I want to get at least 2 cheesesteaks at Iceworks next week. Okay, so.
Oh, Kyle up, do a review.
All right. So last week, the rankings were Avalanche 87s, Ducks, Little Flyers, Lumberjacks. Jeff, I just got what you're saying. It took me about 5 seconds for me to understand what you're saying. But anyways, again, Avalanche 87s, Ducks, Little Flyers, Lumberjacks. The Avalanche, interesting week. Like Jeff said, go 1-1. What was that Avalanche team that showed up in Haverhill?
I was on the call for that.
Did they show up in Haverhill?
Well, I mean, there was a team that showed up. I mean, are the Warriors the new dark horse in all this?
I was going to say, we got to start watching out for them in the East. They are getting real close to the Express.
The irony of that game, though, is that they have Nico Carreri, who sat with the Avs for a while. So it's like the irony is not lost on me there, where it's like the Avs just kind of, I don't know what happened that game. And then the Warriors have just been like, they just have such a new sense of like self, I guess, since adding Carreri, and they've just been on the, like, yeah, they've lost a few here and there, but like they're definitely on the uptrend in the second.
They're 8 points away from Walpole for second place in the East. 8 points.
And Walpole's still only 4 back of the Rangers for the top spot.
Yeah, correct.
Interesting. We're gonna get to the races for sure. Do the Avalanche stay 1? Did anyone do enough behind them to jump them for 1?
No.
Do we keep them at 1? Losing 8-3 though.
Then they come back and beat the Railers, who I know aren't in the top 5, but the Railers are a good team.
True. No, it's true.
Yeah. So yeah.
I just didn't know. Just gotta play contrarian. Anthony, what do you think?
I mean, let's face it, Jeff. Even the best teams have a stinker every once in a while. The Avalanche had one against the Junior Warriors. And just one thing I also want to add about the Warriors, that they've looked really good since the turn of the calendar year. Part of it's due to Carreri. I think they also just have a lot of good players on that team. But the 87s also had one against the Connecticut RoughRiders, that 6-2 loss at Sono.
Yes.
But they bounced back with a 3-0 win over ProTech.
And actually, the Warriors without Hartnett that day, they had to change up the lines, and Lapsa and Alberti were on the first line, and they were humming. Lapsa got me many fantasy points.
Yeah, there was literally 3 players in that game that were all 1 goal away from hat tricks. Freeman, Lapsa, and Hanley, all like 1 away from hat tricks. Like, ridiculous.
Warriors only have 5 games left, though. This is the other fun thing I want to talk about tonight. We're down to a lot of these teams, 5 games left, 6 games left. Getting low. So, I mean, you're 8 points behind, but that's 4 wins. So if you're Valley, you're going to win 4 out of your 5, and you got to expect Walpole to drop a bunch. But
yep. So let's keep the Avalanche at 1.
Oh yeah, power rankings.
I love you, Jeff.
Number
2, I'm leaning towards the 3rd place Philadelphia Little Flyers. I know I have to just plug that in because that division is so good. No, who?
The 87s.
No, they had a loss this past week. I know they
beat the Ducks.
Okay, and I think that
the Ducks were prior to this week.
But the Little Flyers also beat the 87s.
Correct. They lost to the team that I want to put above them. The Little Flyers beat the 87s 4-3.
Yeah, that's
and we have a great point with the Ducks, Anthony, because we have to figure out what to do with coaches that don't want their teams in the power rankings. I dealt with this all last year.
I heard this. Terry
Cody never wanted them in.
Hi, Terry.
Neil, I don't care what the coaches think. We've already been through this.
Anthony's been that abundantly clear all season long. He does not care.
Look, you can text me, you can mean tweet me all you want.
Oh,
I don't
They'll keep
care.
doing it. Okay.
Shout out to the New England Wolves. Look, if you want to get in the top 5, you got to win some games.
Yep. And hey, they may get in. But what I'm saying right now, I think Little Flyers.
But we do.
I think Little Flyers go 2, and I think 87s go 3.
That's fair.
I'm fine with that. Little Flyers have been a wagon since 2022.
Connor McDonnell was so great in that win against the 87s. He was dishing the puck real well.
Are we sure it's not Neil's pronunciation of McDowell?
He combined Connor McCowell and Connor McDonnell, I think, that week.
How did I know that was coming?
Jeff, come on. As a play-by-play, you know very well that there are times that we can get tongue-tied.
Oh,
it happens.
100%, Anthony, 100%. I just had one yesterday in a game where the puck was trickling through the goalie's legs, and I did the Sometimes you make sounds as you see the puck, like
it's harder than it looks.
It is.
It really is.
It is.
Jeff, never forget the big ass cheer from the Seahawks bench. Anyways, I think we should go Avalanche 1, Little Flyers 2, 87s 3. And then
do we drop the Ducks to 4 then?
I'm dropping the Ducks all the way out.
Terry would like them out, so we love Terry on this show. We got to take him out. He asks, he shall receive.
I don't even think it's because he asked. I think right now they're a team that's just kind of, it's gonna sound stupid because they're 7-3 in their last 10, but they're going through
7-2-1.
Okay, fair, but they're still going.
Get it right, Neil.
They're still going a little bit in the wrong direction, not the right direction.
Yeah,
I don't really agree with that, but okay.
You just got shut out at home.
The entire South Division has been unbelievable.
But it's the 87s. The South Division, like it sucks, but like it's the South Division. It's tough.
Yeah,
I'll tell you right now, I'm thinking way too far ahead. If the 87s win the whole thing, I see Anthony's eyes lighting up. My first question will be to Hooley afterwards is going to be, how did a team that lost 8 straight games win the whole thing? Because it's just nuts how far that team has gone.
They figured it out.
Yes.
That's why coaching is the hardest. Coaching a hockey team is the hardest job. One of the hardest in the world.
Yes.
I think it's up there. The sport itself, the long season. Yes, juniors doesn't play as long as pros, but still, 48 game seasons is nothing to sniff at. And Hooley's done an awesome job. Adam Hooley's done an awesome job navigating the guys through everything, but still have the most important season to come, Neil.
Yes. So. For 4-5, I want to go Lumberjacks Wolves.
Yeah, I think that's what I was going to say.
Now you want to put some respect on the Lumberjacks and the Wolves. Okay.
Hold on. First off, Lumberjacks I voted in last week.
Yeah,
Second, the Wolves have won 8 of 11 games. What I don't understand, and they've even said themselves, for the 3 they lost, they don't know what team showed up. That team, though, is as hot as any team in the league right now.
No team that lost 9 in a row earlier in the year.
You gotta say some of that success contributes to Mr. Declan House, 100 career points.
Yes,
that's right. Congrats, Declan. Your father's
and they're racking up some
fan.
College commitments there too. So that's the success pays off.
It's all about the Yevs, my boy.
Is this done? Are we all in agreement? Is it that easy?
Yeah, I was gonna vote. I was gonna bring that. That was my. Geez, you guys stole my thunder. I was gonna say Lumberjacks Wolves. They both won.
I certainly think the Wolves deserve to be in. The reason why I voted them out last week was because they had that 6-1 loss against the Lumberjacks. Couple that with that loss they had against the Avalanche. It was 8-1. So you kind of think, okay, what team are they? They had a 9-4 win against the Seacoast Spartans. I think that's enough to get them in the top 5 for sure.
Yeah, they won 2 out of 3 games last week. I think that is deserving of it. When, like we said, everyone else in the league was basically 1-1 last week, minus the Lumberjacks, who were 2-0. They were 2-0 last week. Wolves were 2-1. Votes.
So receiving votes, do we just put ProTech here as the only team?
And then Terry's gonna. No, I don't want to be any.
Don't even want to be receiving votes, but he's gonna get.
Love you, Duckies.
I think receiving, quack, but I think receiving votes is like one of the bigger curses, isn't it? Too. Or no, that's the 5 spot.
That was just number 5.
That last year?
Number 5 last year was just terrible.
That's what it was.
So just to recap, 1 Avs, 2 Little Flyers, 3 87s, 4 Lumberjacks, 5 Wolves, receiving votes Ducks. So it's kind of more north again. I started this whole conversation about the South, but now we're back to the North. Just saying. So we go over.
Like I said, if you're going to be in the South next week, dude, that's 2 straight weeks of you South. You know, we're helping you out. We got you. Don't you worry. Anthony?
No, never mind.
Never mind. All right. Get back to that in a later date.
EHLP. The Avalanche in the EHLP won 2 games and lost a game. The Rangers won both their games against Vermont. Does that move the Rangers above the Avs? Because the Avs lost to the Wolves, but then beat the Wolves and Railers. I think the Avs can still stay 1, Rangers stay 2, but they're like really making a push towards each other. Like that
the
battle.
Rangers have the most wins in the Premier now with 25.
Yes.
And the Avs are right behind them. Yeah. Let's call Michael Grace, see what he thinks.
The Avs have more points though, because they have 5 overtime losses.
And Justin, what do you call those?
Loser points or Bruins points.
Loser points. He calls them Boston
Loser
Bruins
Bruins points.
Wow.
I would like to keep.
Happy day for the Bruins. All right, Tuukka's gone. Whoops, sorry, Tyler. Love you.
Oh man, I would like to keep the Avalanche 1 and Rangers 2, but the Rangers, I do think, are breathing a little bit down the Avalanche neck right now.
We call them 1A, 1B kind of right now.
Almost, yes.
Right.
I would.
I'd be fine with that. 1A, 1B.
Speaking of Jeff brought this up earlier. The teams that went 1-1 this past week.
Like everybody did,
right?
That shows you this time of the season, though.
The Railers are one of those teams. They lost to the Avs 3-1. They beat the Warriors 6-0. Was there someone that did something behind them to jump them, or do they stay there?
Anybody else really did anything exciting?
They've won 4 of their last. They've won 4 of their last 7 games. So they're kind of in like it sounds like a sputter, but the 3 losses are Rangers, Avs. So I think they stay at 3.
Super exciting to keep.
I think they stay at 3, and I am circling the game on my birthday, February 25th, because I have to plug that date in here so you all remember that one also.
Birthday too, and my grandfather.
Yeah, forget it now. But that date is the last regular season matchup between the Rangers and the Railers. And right now, the Railers have, quick math, 4 games in hand on the Rangers. And Rangers are up by only 6 points. That game could likely decide the division. And I guess in this case, who's 2, who's 3? For last week, it was the Lumberjacks who got swept at home by the Rangers. And they've now lost 5 straight games. I think we have to find a new number 4, guys.
Who is it going to be?
87s have won 4 straight. Little Flyers won 2 of 3 up against.
He's shaking his head no.
Little Flyers won 2 of 3 up against the Chiefs. Walpole and the Seahawks played 1 game of 5-4
because their other one got canceled because of weather, so that's not their fault.
I'm not saying it's their fault. For me,
good call on that cancellation commission.
For me, 4 I want to say is Philly right now.
The Little Flyers
I have to,
and I don't know if anyone's receiving
the last time.
Johnny Lee and his Little Flyers making a push.
You have to put the Little Flyers in there.
If the 87s keep it up and maybe we get back to 500, we could put them receiving votes next week. They're on their way. They're warming.
It's a great segue
category.
It's a great segue too. So just to reiterate, we got Avalanche 1, Rangers 2, Railers 3, Little Flyers 4. Let's add more motivation, no receiving votes so that someone gets fired up. And it's a great segue because I teased this last week, guys, that I wanted to bring back up our finals picks. And I guess we'll start with you, Anthony. As of today, the feeling I get is that in both levels, the South Division finals are going to be 87s versus Little Flyers. Is that not the case? It feels that way today.
Just kicking Protec right in the right in their
Yeah,
beaks. You're hitting them right in the beak. Ow!
But at the same time, Maryland has a little bit of new life with the goaltending they have now. So
yeah, I was gonna say Jackson Bernard.
Oh, I picked Maryland as a final qualifier. I'm just saying. But right today, it feels like Little Flyers 87s. Is that not the case? Am I wrong?
I would say there's a very good case for that. And even when Team Maryland defeated the Little Flyers 3-0, the Little Flyers poured 37 shots on goal. So Jackson Bernard really had to stand on his head in that game. There are a couple of crossbars. I was watching some of that game. They had some shorthanded breakaways. So the score might be a little deceiving. I mean, Team Maryland's still a good team. I don't want to disrespect them at all. But
Neil was the only one that picked Team Maryland.
Hell yeah, it was, Jeff.
It could certainly be in 87's Little Flyers matchup.
I also picked Team Maryland to lose in the playoffs last year, and I never heard the end of it from Team Maryland.
Right, so Lauren picked the Little Flyers to win the South. Anthony picked 87s. I picked 87s. Neil, you picked Little Flyers. But for qualifiers, Anthony picked Protec. I picked Protec. And Lauren has Wizards Railers. Lauren still with the Wizards.
A little wild.
Oh, that's why we're. Is anyone
doing this
feeling?
segment.
Yes, is anyone feeling the need to change right now?
Itchy, if you will. Because we made these. This was Christmas break when we did this.
Made them Christmas break.
Before. Yeah.
So when I picked Maryland to be the final qualifier, which means they would lose the South, but then beat the loser of the Central. Maryland had John Werber. Then John Werber went to college. And then they got Jackson Bernard. And I was like, this is me. Yes, I believe in that pick. And then I don't believe in that pick. Now I believe in it again.
Yeah, but you can't discredit Sullivan and Burke because they were able to pretty well pick up the pieces after Werber left and did pretty good for themselves. And the fact that Burke overcame such like a long bout with that injury and was able to like I said, pick up the pieces for them is huge. So we can't discredit them either. Yes, Jackson Bernard, huge pickup. Love that kid. Super, super good goalie. But like they had two good goalies too. They made it even better. And now they have like a 3-way rotation with these guys where they have good choices any way they pick.
I think it's what you just said though, Lauren. I think it's Jackson Bernard takes them to that next level, right? He gives you that Werber-like quality.
Motivation.
Werber already, exactly. I mean, look at that. We made picks and Werber and Franchi were still in the EHL. Now they're in college.
It's nuts, right? So let's work our way down. All 4 of us picked the Avs to win the North.
Still yes. Still good with the Avs.
Still yes. Okay.
All right. Easy. All right, Neil.
That was easy.
Good start.
Three of us picked the Rangers to win the East. One of us picked the Express to win the East. Anyone changing here? I mean, I am so tempted to say Valley right now.
I know, right? That's the sexy pick.
That's what I'm saying. They're kind of making me. They're kind of like in my ear in the back there, being like, "Hey, don't forget that we're here." Because like I don't know what it is. Because like since starting the new year, there's just something about them where they've like finally started to figure things out. They have guys doing the right things. They picked up Carreri that kind of gave the whole team and Tucker like a boost that they for some reason needed, and they've looked so much better.
Honestly, I think it's a young team figuring themselves out. That team was in so many 1-goal games in that first half of the season. Unfortunately, a lot on the losing end. And talking to Coach McGrath and talking to Coach Clardy and doing a few of their games in the first half, it was like they were up. I remember doing a Spartans game back in October. They were up late. Then they gave up 4 unanswered goals and an empty net at the end and lost 5-3. So I think it's just a team that's kind of young and they've kind of started to gel. They start to believe in themselves. They've gone through the trials and tribulations. And like you just said too, Lauren, getting Carreri, they were kind of shuffling with Noah Dorsey and Tucker Hansen, and Hansen's still working in there too, but Carreri's kind of settled it down in the crease. And we all know in the Frozen Finals, what we've seen in the last bunch of years, the teams that make it there have good goaltending. And so maybe Carreri is that piece that the Warriors were missing.
Also, one piece to add, Jeff, those 2 teams did play each other recently where the Junior Rangers tied the game with 40 seconds left, and then they won it in overtime.
That was yesterday, wasn't it? That was the 5-4.
You want to repeat the goal call, Anthony?
Oh man.
He doesn't.
Who's on that? Let me guess. Is that Jim McCabe on that?
Yes. Who's got an invite to Jane's chicken party? It's Adam Zakowski.
Yes. It's amazing.
All right, so now
Jim McCabe, I love you, man. That was great.
So again,
Rich DiCaprio and ask what movie that was from.
There's 3 Rangers picks and 1 Express at Christmas. Is anybody changing?
They're not playing. Neither of them are playing good hockey right now. I think Coach DiCaprio and Coach Holmstrom would admit that.
Is anyone changing?
I'm willing to throw some love to the Warriors. I think they could make a case for themselves.
Okay, Lauren now thinks the Warriors are going to win the East.
I think the Rangers still win it. Miller and Jackson, we were just talking about strong goaltending. They got to figure things out with the power play.
I'm going to stay the same too. Anthony?
Yeah, I'm staying Rangers.
Yeah, even though the junior Rangers have been in a bit of a funk, I think come playoff time, you have a bunch of returning veterans on that team. Yeah, they know how to compete in the playoffs.
Yep, they're built.
Central. We had, again.
Oh, yeah.
We had 3-1. We had 3 in favor of the Railers and 1 for the Chiefs.
The Chefs. Brendan Johnson, what up?
Anyone,
what up?
Anyone want to change here?
Nope. I'm staying Railers. Blue Train.
I might have to hop on the Blue Train. I mean,
come on, come aboard.
The Chiefs every once in a while make a name, like try to kind of push for themselves, but I think Blue Train's kind of rolling through a little bit.
Okay, so 4 for the Railers. Down to the South.
Right.
Myself and Lauren each picked at the time picked the Little Flyers to win the South, and Jeff and Anthony picked the 87s.
Me and Anthony have very similar picks. Crazy. Great minds think
alike.
Play-by-play man.
This is where I'm torn. This is so up for grabs.
I'm still going 87s.
Anthony's still going 87s.
Well, that's because I may or may not be contractually obligated to pick 87s.
Your check might be a little pink next week, buddy.
I will say this is definitely the hardest division to choose because, like Neil said, anybody can win this one. And actually, one quote that I want to relay, because I was talking to Mark Hatcher on the Little Flyers coach before they played the 87s, and he said, like, honestly, there would be no shame in losing in the first round because, like, that division will just be so hard.
Yep.
And that whoever will exit the division will probably be so battered and tired that they would actually have a hard time competing in the frozen finals.
True. Very true. Something to watch for sure.
Yep.
So those 2 are staying the same. Lauren, let's go 2-on-2. We'll say the same 2.
But I will say, I would say still don't count the Ducks out because or Maryland because I think they're not just like sitting there letting things happen. They're putting up a fight. Yes, the Ducks might have gotten shut out the other day, but like again, it's the 87s, it's the South. Those are tough games. This is a tough division. When it's a division matchup, it's not easy for the South.
Well, you
can go to Eastern Hockey League this year, eh?
Yes. Well, very good. You can put them in with the final qualifiers. So to repeat who we had for the qualifiers, that's where things got different. I had Maryland. I had Maryland and Walpole. Jeff had Walpole and Ducks. Lauren had Wizards and Railers. She just said the Railers are going to win. Are going to win the Central now. And Anthony had Express and Ducks. So I'll start.
This is where the changes come.
I'll start. I was sticking with Maryland, then I was getting away from Maryland. Now I'm back to Maryland, and I'm going to, I think, stay with Maryland today.
Oh, okay.
The Express, what I'm not staying with, I think I've made that very clear the last few episodes. I'm going to wipe out the Express and say that the last qualifier in that game will be the Vermont Lumberjacks. Wow.
He's still my heart.
Lenny Perno. They have a goalie, and it's changed everything.
He is good. Yep.
So Jeff, you had Express and Ducks as your last 2 qualifiers. So you have an East team beating a North team and a South team beating a Central team.
I would like to keep the Protect Junior Ducks there.
Okay.
Oh, Justin, could you turn your camera off for a second for this one?
Jeff is such a Red Train fan that this is killing him.
So I've always loved the Express, but think I want to change that to the Valley Junior Warriors.
Ooh.
Yeah,
okay, so he's going.
I think I want to change that
Warriors.
Warriors.
He's going Warriors and Ducks. Anthony, you want to go first? You had Express and Ducks.
Are you dropping the Express as well? Me and Neil have already done it. Sorry, Josh. Sorry, Trade of Red colors.
It's crazy how the ebbs and flows of the season, right? And how like the ups and downs, and the win streak, and then the losing streak, and maybe Walpole surprises us, right? The league has never been this up for grabs, so it truly has.
I don't know if you would agree on this, Neil, on why you're making the change. They're another team that has strong goaltending. I'm worried about their offense. That's what I feel like that team lacks when it comes to the playoffs. You're going to be in a lot of tight games.
Well, when we made those
Chris
picks,
Pages, shooters,
and wasn't Grun still on the Express?
No, he had just got over to the Rangers.
Oh, yep. I thought he was still there.
It was after the showcase, and he was at the showcase with the Rangers in Newington.
But that plays a huge part of it. He was one of their more deadlier scoring threats.
Whoever wants to go next, Lauren or Anthony, you can say staying the same if you or.
No, I'm struggling.
Put it this way: this is an appetizer for when you have to actually finalize a bracket in a month.
Yep, it's coming.
Because in a month,
February's a short month, guys.
This is pencil, right? Because you can erase it and write it again, right?
Yeah,
in a month, we're writing this in permanent marker.
This is your rough draft. Remember elementary school? Rough draft before the final copies due.
I hated rough drafts. I skipped rough drafts.
What about a Team Maryland Valley Junior Warriors matchup?
Oh, that's what you're going with?
Yeah.
I like that.
So he says Team Maryland's going to win the final qualifier over the team from the Central, and then Valley is going to come out over the team from the North. So that leaves just you, Lauren.
Think about that. Maryland versus the Warriors, two of the who are they leaders in that segment this year. That would be something. All right, Lauren, I stalled as long as I could for you.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
How about the Wizards? We'll start one at a time. Do you still believe in the East Coast Wizards?
Do you still believe the Wizards are going to make it to the East Division Finals and then beat somebody from the North to go to the Frozen Finals?
Cole Scott, Cameron Collins, Matt Gobert.
He's just spitting off names who are on the team right now. Go, Jeff.
That's it. Just help him.
I don't know. I feel like this is going to be a little crazy compared to what I had before, but we're going to go with the Lumbies and the Ducks.
Okay.
These Ducks.
All right. Now, next, do you guys want to post this, or should we leave this just on the podcast?
We said rough draft. Right?
Okay, fine. Well, we won't post this. Get ready.
We'll change the stickers to pencil drawing.
Yes. So in a month, we're doing the permanent, the actual bracket.
Yep.
And next week,
this is a warm up.
And next week, with a special guest coming on during this segment, we're picking the EHLP division winners.
We don't know who that special guest is. A surprise.
Only I do. And with that, we'll go to fantasy.
It's time for the Ecru Fantasy Challenge.
And the Ecru Fantasy Challenge is presented by BioSteel, the sports drink of the EHL. Use the promo code ESHOW, that's ESHOW, for 25% off when you check out at biosteel.com.
Damn it, Jeff.
Oh.
I had Jack Lee, and I was like, Jack Lee, Drew Oliveri. Jack Lee, Drew. I was like, you know what? We're gonna go with Drew. What a terrible decision by me.
First time
because I picked before you too.
Baby. I know you did.
That is one of the best weeks a player has had in fantasy for anyone, right?
Jack Lee, we're now following each other on Instagram. I might have to buy one of your jerseys, sir. I texted that to the Ecru last night when we were reviewing. I have to purchase a jersey, get an autograph. Stud.
5 goals, 3 assists, 3 power play points, and a game-winning goal for 27 points.
That's it. That's all. Just 27.
But
that's
we have
some of our teams get.
I mean, that's all you needed this week to beat me.
Oh my god.
Poor Lauren. Hey,
but we have to work in the same order that we always do. So to recap Lauren's week, she is still in first place overall.
For the first time in like months, not to toot my own horn.
Yes, she did finish last in the week. So sorry, I call it fourth, not last. Anyways, Matt Pimentel, good pick, just like Drew Oliveri, but no points. Dom Jericho got you a goal. Ronan Mobley came in relief in that Valley game and actually kind of dug himself into a hole, but then bounced back with that victory over the Railers for you. Adam Zukowski got you 7 points for that game-winning goal that Anthony was talking about.
One of my 2 lucky sevens.
Yep. And then Aiden Parker with an assist for you. You still it's still a down week, but it's still 18.8 points. It's
but
still
the fact that I picked 2 players that had gone 5 or 6 games without getting any points and they both got points.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yes.
No
So
big deal.
who are your new picks for this upcoming week?
Oh, Team Low this week is stocked. I'm so excited.
This girl is on fire.
I hope so.
Oh my God, Jeff, that was so beautiful.
Thank you. I'll be on America's Next Top.
Oh God. Starting up front, I'm bringing back an old favorite that we all love and Team Low definitely loves.
Ooh.
Colin Bell of the RoughRiders. They have quite a few games this week, so hoping he continues the just parade of goals he always seems to get when the puck touches his stick.
Except for when I picked him.
Yeah. Just how we like it.
Commissioner Curse.
I was about to say it's the Neil Curse.
Mm-hmm.
On defense, I'm so excited to pick this kid up. He was one of my red team all-stars, Mr. Corey Papauser from the Lumberjacks. They've been looking a lot better this second half of the season. It's been fun to watch them. I saw them a week or 2 ago now when they played the Avs, which was quite a fun game to watch, and it was good to see them in town. Obviously,
only got me 1 assist last week, Lauren. You know what that means? He saved them all for you. There you go.
Oh yeah. Hey, you know what they say about defense? Defense wins championships. Just saying. On
doesn't get you fantasy points though.
Goaltending always seems to be my kryptonite this season. I don't know what it is, but I'm hoping it can turn around this week. Jackson Bernard, new Team Maryland guy. So excited to have him. He's a college commit. He's been doing good things all season, despite whatever situation he's in. I'm excited to have him, see what he can do. My utility pick, I'm stealing one from Jeff last week, Mr. Jack Lee of the Railers. Railers have been doing pretty good. When they score, they seem to score a lot, quite a bit. So I'm excited to pick him and hope that success continues for Team Low. And this is a fun one. This is my 3rd Express P pick. I am going with a solid, reliable guy, big kid, super excited. He was on my all-star team in the P All-Stars. Philip Parker, so excited. He's at the top of the P in terms of points and goals and things like that. I am so excited to have him. He's essentially a 2-point per game player. What more could you want out of a guy? He is someone you always want on your team.
A 4-point per game player.
Everywhere. I love him. I'm so excited to have him.
Philip Parker, Mr. Shooting the Stuff.
Oh God.
Oh my God. Yes. Absolutely iconic.
To Anthony's team, Anthony, you put up over 30 points this week. Yeah. And you get to pick second. And honestly, it's as
what's
Justin
that tone,
says,
Neil?
It's as Justin says, you're still putting up points, but you get to pick earlier. So for Anthony, Justin Harshaw had a 3-assist game for you. Dominic Metro, a power play assist. Stefan Kulhanek had a victory and got you 10.6 points. A pair of goals from Michael Tersoni and a goal and an assist from Anthony Viola to get you 30.6. Well, who do you got for picks this week, Anthony?
Okay, so for this week's team, at the forward position, I'm going to bring in Everett Schneider. On the stat sheet, for some reason, it says he didn't score against Pro Tech. I thought he did. I was going to say he has goals in his first 3 games since coming back from an injury. But also, I don't think that game was on Hockey TV, so I can't go back and check the video. But either way, he has 4 points in his first 3 games since returning from an injury, and he's only getting better with each and every game. He's the obvious choice to put it forward. For defense, I'm going with Dominic Cherico. I know that he was a pick from Lauren not too long ago. He has points in 4 of his last 5 games, had a goal against the RoughRiders. I'm going to put him at the blue line for this week. In goal, this is an obvious choice, Nathan Miller. He's been just so terrific. He had a tough game against the Vermont Lumberjacks. Needless to say, I think he'll bounce back. Then for the utility pick, I'm going to go with a player from the New England Wolves. And I know there's been a bit of a beef as of late.
Do it. That's a way to mend the fence with Trimble.
One quick thing I do want to say is that if there's one thing I've learned is that there are 2 kinds of people in this league. Those who care about the EHL power rankings and liars.
Oh.
That is my takeaway from this past week. And for the New England Wolves,
there you have it.
You want some love? Let's see it. I'm going to go with the Bergen County native from Mahwah, New Jersey, Kevin Johnston. I don't think he's gotten enough love He has 31 points in 39 games. He had a 2-goal game in that second win against the Spartans. So show it to me. Show me what you've got. I'm going to go with
he's a red team all-star. He's love that guy.
For that utility pick. And then for the P, I'm going with Connor McAleer. Has 26 points in 27 games. Had 2 points in their last game against the Valley Junior Warriors. That was the 6-0 win.
Today.
Yep. So I'm going to put him as the utility player. Or no, the EHLP slot.
And that gets to my picks, which, as I mentioned before, what's killing me is I should have picked Jack Lee. I should have picked Jack Lee. Because then I would replace 0 points with 27 points.
I'll make you feel better, buddy, because this happened to me earlier in the year when Diviner went on that, like, what do you have, that 5-point game? He had like a goal and 4 assists right before Newington. Same thing. I was just about to pick him, wanted to get the splashy pick for the Chiefs before we go to Newington. Nope, didn't do it.
I'm quite annoyed.
Yeah,
but
trust your gut, Neil. To
recap my picks from this past week, I picked Colin Bella after he had that 6-point game. He said Neil picked me, so here's 1 assist. Tyler Anastasi got me 4 assists, 3 of which were on the power play. Lenny Perno, a pair of victories, one over the Rangers, one over the Wizards. I mentioned Drew Oliveri. He'll probably light it up this week. I don't want to call it transitive property. It's like reverse transitive property that he'll light it up, but Jack Lee won't light it up. Mm-hmm. But Johnny Lee, for my utility, did light it up. He got me 16 points as I'm being served dinner right now. This is unbelievable.
Mickey Rabin, ladies and gentlemen.
Look at this.
She's not only a beautiful lady, she can cook too.
Look at it, chicken and broccoli. Anyways, to my picks.
And I would like to say we managed to find a picture of Lenny Perno for goaltender.
Yes, we did. Thank you for taking that picture. Anyways, my picks for this week. Lauren mentioned earlier Declan House hitting his 100th point. Maybe this is lofty. This is lofty, but I'm picking Bobby Geyer. He has 3 games, needs 8 points. Maybe that's a lot to get in 3 games, but I'd love it.
On North Carolina native.
On defense, I am going with Alex Newton. So in a way, I'm going with last week, Tyler Anastasi, Alex Newton this week, 2 guys who I think should be candidates for the Defenseman of the Year award when the season is all said and done. In goal, a new goalie. The Railers, who already were pretty stout in goal, now bringing Cam Carroll, who I hope gets at least 1 or 2 starts in their 3 games.
Cool on a Galway.
Cool as ice, baby.
So now I can't use reverse transitive property again, but I picked Bella last week, didn't work. So now I'm going to try and pick Dallas D'Amato this week and see if I change my luck in a way with the RoughRiders. And then no one's wanted to take this risk yet, so I'll do it first. No one's picked a goalie out of the EHLP. So I'm going to go first.
You were going to say that. I literally knew you were going to say that.
I noticed that. I was looking for him.
So we're going to go.
Oh my God.
We're going to go with Jared Packman. He's one.
He has one of the coolest, if you guys haven't seen it yet, he has one of the coolest goalie helmets I have ever seen. His last name is Pac-Man. So
wait, better than Cookie Dough?
Pac-Man themed. It's Pac-Man themed. It is like so fun. I like
Cookie Dough go over
when I got
Pac-Man?
to see it, but it was, oh God, it was amazing. So fun.
So there you go. Jersey bracket, toughest rate to play in bracket, goalie mass bracket.
Goalie cage.
Hey, I can't remember which one it was. One of the Wolves goalies I remember at one of the showcases has a really nice one because it's got the nice like matte finish and it's super like snowy and
Gillerman?
And I love it.
It's a Gillerman?
Maybe.
Anyways, I guess now is the time to get to Jeff's week because this is just silly, Jeff.
Banana land.
We already covered Jack Lee getting 27 points.
Mm-hmm.
It's so silly.
Lauren, you're gonna.
Imagine if Papauser got me more than just 1 assist.
Okay, he said it. Corey,
we improved. We said his name right.
Lauren taught me last week.
Corey, the defenseman from Vermont.
Here comes Corey up the right point.
Nico Carreri got you that bonus game victory against the Avalanche.
I was going. Right? That's why I picked him.
Jonathan Lapsick got you 16 points.
Sure did.
Lane Brubaker-Agner got you another 11 points. Like, this is just ridiculous, Jeff.
Dude, freaking Avalanche P. Love you guys. Vasilyevs and Lane Brubaker-Agner. I talked to Vinny Calgary in the hallway before I called the Warriors-Avs 8-3 game. That kid's good. That kid's really good. So
66
start him on for next week.
66.4.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you duplicate that this week?
All right. Well, we're going to try. I'm going back to a guy that I put on the fantasy map a while ago with the Boston Junior Rangers. Still has been almost a point per game player. Nick Cullinan, 17 points in 19 games for him. Even though the Rangers specialty teams units have been struggling a little bit, he has 8 points, 4 goals, 4 assists on the power play. And the Rangers play 3 games this week, so I'm going with the numbers. So we're going to go to Cullinan at forward, and then let's see. Let's try to keep this in some semblance of an order, so I'm not zigging and zagging and keeping you guys all over the place. JJ Creighton is my defenseman. Team Maryland, another team that's got a few games this week, and Creighton up to 21 points in 39 games. Had a goal against Anthony's 87s recently. Sorry, Anthony. Also had an assist against the Little Flyers. Sorry, Alo. So we're hoping Creighton can continue the points from the back end. And then let's see. Another Team Maryland player I have. This is my utility. All right. Told you I was going to try to keep semblance of an order, but let's start zigging and zagging. Patrick Doyle. Have we picked Patrick Doyle yet? I don't think we have. Well, here he comes. 25 points in 36 games for Doyle. Had 2 goals against the Apple Corps the other day. And he also had a goal against the 87s. Anthony, again, sorry. It seems like I'm picking all players that have scored against Anthony's 87s, but they're still winning a lot of games. So 3 goals in the last 2 games for Doyle. We're going to take him at the utility spot. And then, Neil, you got him on the map. I'm taking him. Lenny Perno, come on down. You were one of our top performers, presented by Vaughn, of course, from last week. And all this kid has done since the first game, his debut against the Avalanche, is win. He lost against the Avs and then beat the Avs, beat the Wolves, beat the Rangers, beat the Wizards, 4-1, which got him that top performer. So it's pretty good, I would say. Wouldn't you say?
He's so good. He looks so good. Watching him against the Avs was so fun. He was amazing.
Like Neil said, I mean, that just changes the outlook of the Vermont Lumberjacks completely. Not that Kotai hasn't been great and Billiquay has been okay in spots, but Perno's just been an absolute force, and that's what Vermont needed. And then for the P, speaking of Vermont, Trent King, sexy pick, right? Fast, kid can burn it, gets a lot of power play points, 5 goals, 4 assists on the power play. Small but fleet-footed winger, if you will. Getting a lot of points.
Can always count on Jeff.
No cheap goals from Trent King.
No,
and we can always count on Jeff to go in whatever order he just picked them.
There you go. I was going with like teams. I went with Creighton, and I was like, oh, let me get to Doyle because we're in Team Maryland. Let me go with the Lumbies, Perno.
But you gotta think too, though. Maybe Perno is like the Carreri situation, kind of breathed, and Jackson Bernard, honestly, like he breathed a little bit of new life into those teams.
Right.
They were doing. I mean, Lumberjacks were doing pretty well as it was, but like it just kind of gives them an extra little. Okay, let's take this and run with it.
Neil, is Lenny Perno the next David Raduzzi? One of my favorite names to call in Frozen Finals history as a goalie.
Could be. Yeah, there's not as many syllables for you though.
No.
To call at the finals. I don't know how.
I'm gonna have to ride the O if he gets in. Perno.
Whoa. You have to really ride that up. 2 funny things I have to point out, Jeff. You kept mentioning guys scoring against the 87s last year. On 5 occasions, I picked the goalie of the week who beat the 87s.
That's weird.
Every time I did it, Hooli was like, are you doing this intentionally? I was like, I'm not, I swear.
I can see him calling you out on that.
And the second point is for a player who wasn't even picked this week. Okay. But I have to put out there that there is clearly a curse when I picked them. Because when I picked Julius Cavando from the Wolves, he got me nothing. Right? Nothing. Since I picked him, he has points in 5 straight games, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And he has 10 total points in those 5 games.
That's a lot from a D-man, too.
And 2 game-winning goals.
Oh.
And 6 of those points are on the power play.
Oh. That's why he was our top-performing D-man last week.
And one of those points was shorthanded.
Oh.
And this is why he earned himself a college commitment.
It's
so good.
Rattling how good he's been since I picked him. And I'm just thinking to myself,
commitment video.
So now when you go to the actual overall standings, right? Lauren is at 609 first place. Jeff is at 569.6 second place. I'm at 545.8. Anthony's at 519.4.
It's tight.
And I will lose sleep thinking about if I had picked Cavando in the right week and picked Lee, not Oliveri.
Don't do it, Neil. This is just like other fantasy sports that we play. Don't play I wanted to play that matchup. You got me 48 points on my bench. And
I'm so
do it.
When the bracket comes around, it all comes down to that.
Need you to be rested for the finals, even though you're not calling games anymore.
Okay, we're not talking about that. Anyways,
I have to bring it up once an episode, just to keep trickling away at you.
And now
my partner.
Let's get to Let's get to what to watch for.
Before we wrap things up, here's what to watch for this week in the E-Show.
What to Watch For is presented by Hockey TV, the official streaming platform for your EHL and EHLP action through the 2021-2022 season.
I am watching for a 2-game home series for the Vermont Lumberjacks against the New Hampshire Avalanche. That's huge. I know the Avs have clinched number 1, but in the current moment, I think the Avs want to avoid the Lumberjacks in the first round. I think any matchup is tough, right? But if they could get Seacoast or the Wolves first and then the Lumberjacks, they would prefer that. And I think this weekend's going to prove that. I could be wrong, right?
Did you talk to your neighbor? Go take a walk 6 minutes east, I think it is. No. Go ask Juan Chris Sorella.
No, I'll probably show up here tomorrow morning. But they split the last series they just had, the 2-game series in Hooksett. That was when Lenny Perno first arrived. I know, like I said, I know the Avs are already clinched number 1, but
hasn't lost since.
2 huge games this weekend in Burlington.
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to go next?
I'm excited to see how I'm jumping on the red train and the P. I'm excited to see how they play this weekend. They're playing the Rangers and the Chiefs, I believe, if I remember that correctly. And I'm excited to see kind of how that goes, because obviously Phil's a good player. I'm happy to have him, but like at the same time, those are 2 fairly tough opponents, and so I'm curious to see how that goes. And hopefully, because they're coming off a win against the Seahawks, so hopefully they can kind of build off of that to keep it going, trending more in the right direction, because I think they had like 3 losses previously before that game, so hopefully they can continue to keep things going in the positive direction.
I was going with Rangers Express in the E, Lauren, because that's for all the points in the East Division. Rangers lead by 4 points over the Express for first. 52 points for the Rangers, 48 for Walpole. Rangers win that. You win both games. That's 4. You get up to 56 points. Sorry, I just had a brain fart. I was just trying to do quick math. And then you're 8 points away from the Express, and then vice versa. Express win both games. You're tied with the Rangers for first place. And this also affects the Warriors too.
That is a massive series.
Yeah. If the Express gets swept and the Warriors win this week, then they move up even closer.
We got to say hey, hello, how are you to Tyler for calling some Red Train P games this season, getting us some really exciting calls, getting some love for that team, getting some love for the P in general. He's been doing a good job with that.
Tyler Rago is a very, very good broadcaster and a good man too. His love for Tuca though.
I was gonna say sorry about that today. That's not good.
Anthony, a game to watch.
Love you, buddy.
Okay.
Or 2 games to watch.
Well, the obvious one would be the 87s Little Flyers. The 87s are on a 4-game winning in the EHLP. The 87s P team is on a 4-game winning streak, but they also had a couple of games against a struggling New Jersey Renegades team, and they're going up against the top team in the South this weekend. So I think this will be a good barometer to see how much they've improved as of late, because they have been playing pretty well in the calendar year of 2022. For the EHL, this is another matchup that'll seem kind of random, but I'm going to go with the East Coast Wizards and the Seacoast Spartans, because you have 2 teams that are fairly low in the standings, but the East Coast Wizards, right now, they're only 2 points behind the Valley Junior Warriors for 3rd in the East. And the Spartans, while they're 4th in the North Division, they're only 2 points behind the Lumberjacks. They're only 4 points behind the Wolves. So I think for both teams, this is really a game where they can try to pull themselves back up in the standings.
Good pick, Anthony. See, you taught us went from random to not random. You just filled us all in. That was well done.
We all highlighted a 2-game set, if you will. So a bunch of good games to watch. A special guest coming on next week during our weekly rundown. and it's an exciting time right now. We are literally a month away from the postseason. So enjoy all the games this weekend, guys. We'll talk next week.
Thanks for listening to The E-Show. Learn more at easternhockeyleague.org and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Also, be sure to subscribe and get notified when next week's podcast is released.